to the channel. Today's video is going to be all about mounting our solar panels to the roof of our bus.
The first night when we started this project, we decided that we were going to mock up the solar panels, get all of our holes ready to be drilled.
We took all the brackets and hardware out of the package to see what came with the kit and kind of get an idea of how everything works and mounts to the solar panels.
And so for our solar panels themselves, we went with two 320 watt panels combined. It's going to be 640.
We got the two panels as a pair. Shipped to the house was about $700 total. Get them on Amazon. We will link the Amazon store cart in the description of the video.
Mounting day.
We already got our holes marked and we're going to start drilling some holes.
It's always terrifying, I feel like, when we're putting holes in the bus. But for a good reason.
We're using the villain from Incredibles.
So we ended up ordering some solar panel mount brackets off Amazon. They're about the biggest size that we could find that would hold our 320 watt panels, because they are about 6 feet long. It's 3 pieces, so it's these 2 mounting brackets, and these are attached with some super easy wing nuts and some knobs. So it came with all of your bolts and your flange nuts, and then it also came with some self-tappers to actually tap it into the bus. We weren't too happy with self-tappers, it was kind of scary, so we ended up replacing it with our 10 millimeter bolts.
Quarter inch actually.
10 quarter inch 10 bolt millimeter. That's big.
These are 10 millimeter bolts that they provide.
So since our roof is curved, the self-tappers actually wouldn't work.
We have it better than some people. Some people have, we have like a gradual.
So we bolted our brackets. You bolt the first side of the bracket with a 10 millimeter bolt. Next up, attach the other side, the bus side, with wing nuts and knob things. These things.
Because they are adjustable, so we'll be taking them on and off. Although this is the part that's mounted to the bus, so we would actually be moving
The bus is doing that.
You got bigger problems, dude. When you don't have all the supplies you need.
You use the bit as a punch, a pry bar as a blunt object. See, we don't always work at the shop.
At a shop work.
And you make do with what you have. Pro tip. After drilling a hole, never with a bare hand, like I just did. Never with a bare hand, swipe all the shavings away, because you made the mistake before where you drill a hole, there's a little piece hanging up, and as you swipe your hand across it, it acts as a little knife and it slices your finger. Ask me how I know, even though I just told you how I did it. Do as I say, not as I do. See, I almost did it again. See, it's just force of habit. You want to just...
These birds coming in here, shitting on our home. And once again, we're using hockey pucks as spacers, shock absorbers. I can't stress enough how amazing these are. Play ball! Come out and save us.
Don't drill through your hand. We do not condone this activities. The middle, since the bus is curved, is actually a shorter distance between the bracket and the roof of the bus. So we need a shorter spacer that's thinner. So we're actually going to be a little bit resourceful, and the excess part of the mud flap that we had to cut off because they were too long, we actually cut them up into little pieces, and they're 1/2 inch spacers, which is perfect for what we need. Put a little hole in them, and that'll act as the rubber isolator / spacer, or the center hole in the solar panel tilt bracket.
Best part about not working at the shop.
You gonna help us build this bus?
She says no.
So we had an epiphany.
You had us in the first half.
Once our holes are all drilled, instead of taking the brackets off, we kept them on the solar panel, and we had one person holding the solar panel up and the other person caulking and put it when we could have just taken the brackets off. So this go around, do this instead. Well, we're gonna take the bus side bracket off, keep that one on the solar panel, and we're gonna bolt them with our caulk and our hockey puck spacers, and then put the solar panel down and wing nut them.
Give it a shot. I don't care what happens to the bus, we're not getting rid of that light.
It's a little crusty on the bottom, but
It's our staple.
it came with the bus, it stays with the bus.
I love her.
So to find the spacing between the solar panels, I've been using these rivets on the center of the roof of the bus as a reference point. So we went off, the first one was about 5 inches, roughly 5 1/4. We already have the first one mounted, so we want to get the second one mounted up. And first we got to get squared up so we know exactly where to put the holes. We have roughly 5 inches to the center of the rivet here. We have even space, roughly 10.5 inches. We have enough room to walk in between them. And originally we were going to use the seam of the bus in the front as a reference point, and we were going to line up this edge here with the seam. But we decided better to have this little bit of space to walk. It's a little sketchy, but you can still walk. And we didn't want to have the solar panels so pushed far forward once we actually got it up here to look at it. And we still have room for our vent fan to go here. Didn't want to go all the way to the edge right here, last hole here, which would be ideal. This is where the bus starts to curve. So we went back basically before the curve, which roughly is about 5 holes in. That's where we marked it there. Once you have your outside holes drilled, kind of a pain in the butt to get to that center hole. If you decide to do 3 mounting locations, 2 is probably fine on either side. We're doing 3 just for safe measures. Essentially just line it up with the 2 holes. In our case, we have 22 of these holes between this mounting location and 5 in here. So count in 11, mark it. You don't have to go super tight with those. It's only sheet metal that's on the roof, so you don't want to go too tight and actually pull that bolt through. So something to keep in mind actually when you're mounting your solar panels and you're setting up, you want to make sure you have all of your wires facing in the right direction. You're having a junction box go into a certain place on your roof, whether it be the middle of the bus, van, vehicle, whatever, or the front. You want to make sure that both panels have their wires in the same direction, so you don't go to mount it and then you have to run extensions or anything, or have to unbolt them and switch them around. We are extra generous with the caulk. We put caulk around the bolt heads on the underside of the hockey puck, so that way it's squished and goes to the edge, and then we finger spread it around. The last thing you want is leaks.
And we're still probably gonna caulk the inside too.
Yep. More cars. This is the struggle that you guys don't see. Or maybe you do.
That and the lunch break, the hunger. It's the third bracket, the third piece in mounting these solar panels. This is what made this solar panel mount so desirable to us, is because these are completely and entirely adjustable. Bolts it into this position, or we can have it much lower down, and don't close it on me, but we can have it much closer to the ground. However we want to angle these solar panels to have the best amount of efficiency, where we're facing and such. We could even completely flip it around. Have our little wing nuts and mounts here, so if we want them tilted that way, for example, it's easy to do. So there's 3 of these in particular, and if we want them flat, then they just hang out for storage.
And when you're driving and you don't have the brackets tilted up, that spare third wing nut and knob nut thing, we put ours next to the front mounting there as a spare until you use it.
And so that video wraps up yet another bus install. We can't wait to have these hooked up, not just mounted, have a real live setup to create energy.
So stay tuned for a future video where we actually build our electrical system, build our battery bank, and hook these solar panels up so they can actually be used rather than just roof art.
Future?
Future.
Future.
Future.